2022 is almost over, so here's my list of what I am most anticipating in 2023. Now, this, of course, is very subject to change as movies get delayed all the time, and some of the movies and shows on this list don't even have exact release dates yet. They're just slated to come out supposedly sometime in 2023. Also, these are only movies and shows that I know about. There's, of course, a ton of stuff coming out on streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and, of course, Disney+. But the exact release dates usually don't get revealed until, like, a month before they come out. So there may be some movies and shows coming out that I'm not even aware of. So with that in mind, let's get started. Coming out in January, we have M3gan, or Megan, or however this movie is pronounced. This one's mostly by default because it's the only movie coming out in January that isn't rated R. I think it looks fun, it looks campy, and it's a PG-13 January horror film. Those are usually pretty fun, even if they usually aren't great cinema. And also coming out in January, we have Bad Batch Season 2. This comes out on January 4th. I'm super excited for it. I love this show. It's basically the A-Team, but in the Star Wars universe. I can't wait to see what new adventures the Bad Batch goes on, and maybe we'll get some answers about Omega, and hey, who knows what other famous Star Wars characters will show up this season. In February, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I love the Ant-Man films. I think they're hilarious. I'm very excited to see where this film goes. And with King the Conqueror being the villain of this one, I'm excited to see if it ends up tying into Loki. In March, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. And if you've seen my ranking of the DCEU films, you know that Shazam is my favorite of those. I'm very excited to see Shazam and his siblings with their new superpowers working together, and I'm hoping it's the movie that Incredibles 2 should have been. Also coming out in March, we have Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. The trailer for this was highly entertaining. It looks like it's not going to take itself too seriously, and it looks like it's going to be a really fun time. And coming out March 1st, we have The Mandalorian Season 3. I'm excited to see what new adventures Mando and Grogu go on, who's going to show up, and just where the show goes, because Mandalorian is an awesome show. Super excited for Season 3. And bringing us into April, there's only one thing coming out in April so far that I know of, and it's Super Mario Brothers. Ever since the trailer for this came out, I've been absolutely sold on it. The animation looks fantastic, it has a great cast, it looks very cute, and it looks like it's going to have a lot of fan service for fans of the Mario games. I cannot wait for this. In May, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, this is very clearly going to be the last outing for the Guardians, at least for a while. It looks like not every character is going to make it to the end of the movie. And given certain reveals in the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which I won't spoil if you haven't watched it yet, I'm curious to see how that ties in. Seriously, go and watch the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I know Christmas is over, but it's important. You're not really going to understand Guardians of the Galaxy 3 unless you watch this. And also coming in May, we have Fast X, Fast and Furious 10, whatever you want to call it. Now, I've actually only seen the first 2 Fast and Furious movies. I was planning on reviewing all of them last year, but I got really busy with life, and I figured since this one is coming out, I should just wait until we get closer to the release date so the memory is fresher. I can't really gauge my excitement level for this because we're not super into this franchise yet, but it is going to be a big movie, so I'll give it a shot. I'll go back and watch the other ones as we get closer to this one. And also in May is The Little Mermaid. Now, Disney live-action remakes are pretty hit or miss for me, but based on the teaser trailer, I think it looks very impressive. The water and the fish all look very realistic. Lin-Manuel Miranda is writing new songs for this one, and he's a great songwriter. In fact, he's such a big fan of the original film and Alan Menken, who wrote the songs for the original, that he actually named his son Sebastian after Sebastian the Crab. But I'll need a full trailer before I can really gauge my excitement for this. In June, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Apart from No Way Home, Spider-Verse is my favorite of the Spider-Man movies. All the Spider characters are creative and fun. I'm extremely excited as a huge Spider-Man fan to see what other versions of Spider-Man we get to meet, and I'm excited where they take the story of Miles Morales. Also, we have Transformers Rise of the Beasts. I'm glad that Transformers is going back to its roots and tying into Beast Wars. This looks very fun based on the teaser trailer that dropped a few weeks ago. I love all the Transformers movies, even if some of them are not very good. Elemental. Pixar has been pretty hit or miss lately, but the animation in the trailer looks fantastic. Hopefully it has a good enough story to back it up. The Flash. Controversy and production troubles aside, I'm still very excited for this, mostly for Michael Keaton returning as the Batman. And 65. This seems like one of those movies that could honestly go either way. It looks like it's Jurassic Park in space, which could be just stupid enough to work, or it could be a total disaster. Either way, it has my curiosity. And concluding June, we have Indiana Jones 5, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. After some very odd story decisions in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, this looks like it's going to be a nice return to form for the franchise. I think it looks fun. Mads Mikkelsen is playing the villain. Hopefully the film is the worthy send-off that Indiana Jones deserves. Bring us into July, we have Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. This was actually on my most anticipated list for 2021, but it got delayed. Now, with the exception of the second film, all the Mission Impossible movies are pretty solid. They have fun action. They're just nice little time killers. I'm excited to see what crazy stunts Tom Cruise does in this one. Also, we have Barbie. I honestly don't know a single thing about this, because even the teaser trailer was somewhat vague, but based on the star-studded cast, it looks like it's going to be one of those movies that doesn't take itself too seriously, so I'm curious at how this will turn out. Oppenheimer. Assuming this gets a PG-13 rating, I'm interested in this. It looks like it's going to have a very compelling story, and it's Christopher Nolan, so there's that. The Marvels. Okay, I'm not super excited for this movie. I'm not really a fan of the Captain Marvel character, and I even found the Ms. Marvel show kind of bland, but it's going to be a big movie. It's a Marvel movie, so I'm seeing it more out of obligation. Every year there's a few obligation movies that I have to go see, movies that I'm not really excited for, but I see them just for the sake of reviewing them, and this is one of them. In August, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Based on the concept art that's been released, I'm excited to see a fully animated Ninja Turtles movie. Now, I'm not a die-hard fan of Ninja Turtles, but I'm going to try and do my homework on this before it comes out by watching some of the cartoons and rewatching the other movies. The Haunted Mansion. This has fantastic cast, and assuming they have the right script, this could be a great movie. I actually am one of the few people that doesn't think the Eddie Murphy version is all that bad, but if the remake can improve upon it, I'm all for it. Blue Beetle. I know nothing about this, but it's a DC movie. It's going to be a big movie, and I'm always down for a superhero movie, especially when it's about a character I know nothing about. Regarding September, nothing is currently scheduled as of me filming this video, so we're skipping September and going straight to October. Kraven the Hunter. Will this be great, or will it be a disaster? Aaron Taylor Johnson is in the lead role, and he's a fairly decent actor, and I'm curious to see how this potentially ties into Venom, since these are the same universe. In November, we have Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I love the Hunger Games movies, and I absolutely devoured the books, including this one. I'm excited to see if they can capture the essence of a young President Snow as well as the book did. Disney's Wish. This is the latest animated Disney movie, and though there's very little information about it, the information we do have, that it's going to be the origin story for the wishing star from other Disney movies, has me intrigued. Is it going to be like Kingdom Hearts, where all the movies end up getting tied together? Trolls 3. I know this is a much maligned franchise, people aren't the kindest to it, but as a fan of Fraggle Rock, I enjoy it because it really reminds me of that. I think the songs in it are very fun, I think the colors are very bright, I think the movies can actually be pretty funny when they want to, so I'm very excited for this. But given that like the past 6 DreamWorks films have been sequels, and after this their next film was also Kung Fu Panda 4, part of me also wishes that DreamWorks would start doing original films again. Revive films that were killed in production, like Me and My Shadow or The Bureau of Otherworldly Operations, because those sounded interesting, and I'm disappointed those got canceled. In December, we have Wonka, starring Timothée Chalamet from the director of Paddington. So what is there to not get excited about? Timothée Chalamet is a great actor. I think both of the Paddington movies are absolutely fantastic, and it's Roald Dahl, and movies based off of Roald Dahl are always very imaginative. I'm extremely excited for this. Ghostbusters Afterlife Part 2. I liked the first Ghostbusters Afterlife, but it did feel a little bit too familiar, so I'm hoping the story for this one is a bit more out of the box and takes more risks. I'm hoping Paul Rudd also comes back. And we also have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Aquaman is one of those movies I'm very mixed on. I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with it. I think Jason Momoa is great in it. I think the story is kind of fun, but it's also a bit weak in terms of the villain. So I'm hoping the second one brings back Black Manta, because he was a far more interesting villain than Orin. And there's also a good chance this is going to be the last movie in the DCU before James Gunn hits the reset button. And here are the ones coming out in 2023 that currently do not have release dates. MCU's TV show Secret Invasion. This looks very intriguing. It looks like it's going to be the MCU equivalent of X-Files with lots of intrigue and mystery. I'm excited to see what this ends up being. X-Men 97. The X-Men animated series from the early 90s is, of course, incredibly iconic. People have been waiting over 30 years for continuation. I'm glad we're finally getting it. Super excited to go back and watch the series again to prep for this new season. Loki Season 2. Season 1 ended up on a super abrupt and awkward cliffhanger due to being produced by a certain event that starts with P. I really enjoyed the first season. I thought it was clever, had some interesting ideas, and I'm excited to see where it goes and if it ties into Ant-Man 3. Ahsoka. Rosario Dawson's take on Ahsoka, The Mandalorian, and Book of Boba Fett was awesome. I'm excited to see a whole series about a fully fledged Ahsoka who's at the full height of her power. Star Wars Skeleton Crew. This has been talked about as being geared towards a younger audience, but it's also being directed by John Watts, who did the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and is also being described as a throwback to 80s adventure films like The Goonies, so I'm excited for this. Pixar's Win or Lose, the first TV show from Pixar that isn't based on one of their movies. This is being described as the adventures of a middle school baseball team, and each episode will show two different perspectives. The perspectives of the winning team and the perspectives of the players of the losing team. I'm not a huge sports fan apart from BYU, but this sounds interesting. I'm glad Pixar's doing an original TV series. I'm keeping my eye on this. And speaking of other Pixar TV shows, Monsters at Work Season 2. I absolutely love Season 1. I thought it was clever. I thought it was funny. And the world of Monsters, Inc. in general is just so fun to explore. I'm excited to see what happens to the new characters from this show. Hopefully Season 2 feels a bit more connected to the movies, and hopefully we get a lot more Mike and Sully. Tiana. Princess and the Frog is an incredibly underrated Disney film. It was supposed to be a resurgence of 2D films for Disney, but for whatever reason, it underperformed. Hopefully the show does well so we get more 2D animation from Disney, and hopefully it's an actual show with episodes that are 11 to 20 minutes and not just shorts like Cars on the Road and the Zootopia Plus series. The Miraculous Ladybug movie. Now, supposedly, this is coming out in 2023. There have been images released from it. The animation looks gorgeous. I'm a huge, huge fan of the show. I'm excited to see the show in movie form on the big screen. Either way, even if it gets delayed to next year, whenever this ends up coming out, I'll try to do some reviews of some of the episodes leading up to it if I have time. Peter Pan and Wendy. The Disney live-action remakes are kind of hit or miss, like I said earlier, but I love Peter Pan. It has a solid cast behind it. I'll, of course, have to wait for a full trailer before I can give any real thoughts, but I've got faith and trust in Pixie Dust that this will be good. Descendants, the Pocket Watch. Again, I'm not the target audience for this, but I love the Disney Descendants movies, and it's been confirmed that the Cinderella from the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical will be in this, as well as characters from Wonderland, which makes me think there's going to be some sort of multiverse in this film, like Kingdom Hearts or Once Upon a Time. I'm excited to see more Descendants, even if it's not the original cast, just because I love the idea of all the Disney films being connected. Well, there you have it. There's a preview of what's coming out in 2023 as of now. Let me know what you're most excited for next year.